Kia ora everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about I guess 5-6-ish reasons why you shouldn't move to Wellington. So basically just I guess the worst parts of my experience having lived there for a couple months. I do want to kind of preface this video by saying that this is by no means like a video trying to stop people from moving to Wellington, because I do think it is, you know, an awesome city, but I feel like people often glamorize it and there are kind of these, I guess, worst parts that you wouldn't really know unless you've lived there. So yeah, these are some cons, I guess. So first of all is the weather. I feel like people know this. Everyone says it's windy, but I don't think you really kind of realize it until you're there, like how bad it is and how much it has an effect on you. And like it definitely did for me. Like it was just very, I don't know, like there's something about, I think it's the location of it, but I think it is actually the windiest city in the world. And yeah, literally it's just like you walk on the street and then you can't even have your hair down because it just like gets everywhere. It can often just like rain all the time. And I remember like I lived there during the summer and there were days when I was in like a scarf and like a big coat because the weather was just like that bad. As someone that definitely is like the weather that affects their mood, I feel like Wellington probably is not a city that I could really see myself thriving in long term. Yeah, I do think it is something that I guess you could probably get used to, but it's definitely good to know that like it is very, very windy. So if you're going even in summer, like definitely bring some warm clothes because it does get cold. Second con is the housing, and I feel like, to be fair, this is kind of a New Zealand wide problem, but Wellington is notoriously bad for housing. I'm pretty sure it is the most expensive place in New Zealand for renting, and I think this comes just down to the like high demand, because Wellington itself is a pretty attractive city to move to. Like it's by the water, you've got lots of nature and good education, job opportunities, so a lot of people are wanting to go there, which obviously drives up the demand. But the supply of houses is like just very low because the city itself is quite small, and yeah, there's just a lot of like old housing, and housing is just really run down. And I remember I visited one room and it was like $280 a week just for this tiny room. And yeah, the housing situation is just, it's really not it. I guess the best advice I can give is just to start looking early, because it probably will take you like a good couple months to find a place, unless you know someone or you know you have a friend there, then maybe it's easier. But yeah, finding a house in Wellington is like really, really tough. Number 3 is politics. Like I don't really mind this, but I guess if you're someone that really doesn't like politics, Wellington is probably not for you. Wellington is the capital of New Zealand, so obviously, you know, you've got like the Beehive, all the parliament buildings, and I feel like pretty much everyone you speak to works for the government. So politics is just kind of like surrounds your everyday life, and everyone's talking about it and everyone's like very involved, which to be honest, like you just kind of felt like you were stuck in this little bubble. So if you're not really one for politics and you don't want to get involved in that kind of stuff, you don't want to like hear it everywhere, or everyone around you is like involved in, you know, the public sector, then maybe Wellington is not the place for you. The 4th is like if you're looking for a big city, Wellington is not the place for you. Even though it's like the second biggest city in New Zealand, Wellington itself is very tiny. And I mean, I'm sure like anyone who lives in Wellington, if you go to the city, like you're pretty much guaranteed to run into somebody that you know, because it's just such a small town. So if you're looking for a big city where you can just kind of like blend in, you know, no one's gonna notice you, and you're just gonna be like, you know, able to go to all these like shopping malls and just experience big city life, Wellington's probably not it. And the last thing that I don't think is spoken about enough is like the crime and just how sketchy it is in general. I feel like walking around the city, unfortunately, like there are a lot of homeless people, and the vibe that I get is just like it's kind of old and run down in a way. I feel like there's a very big like wealth disparity, and you'll see this like just walking from one side of the city to another. Like on the north side you've got like the government and, you know, the Beehive, and it's all very like pretty and like clean, but then like when you go to the other parts of the city, it's just very like run down and old, and just, you know, like you've got homeless people and like random weird people on the street. So yeah, I feel like Wellington itself, it can be a bit sketchy at times, so I think that's important to mention because I got mugged, and I have made a video about it. But yeah, I feel like people often think of Wellington and even New Zealand as a whole as being just super like clean, friendly, safe country, and that's definitely not really the case. Like bad things can happen, and you know, crime happens, and I'm pretty sure Wellington is like one of the highest has one of the highest crime rates in New Zealand. Anyways, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys took something out of it. Again, a lot of it was based on my experience, but I think it is important to also highlight the downsides of a city and not just, you know, glamorize it. So yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Ciao.